So welcome back to All In, the Marathon Week special.
I'm going all in!
Firstly, I'd like to apologise for going missing for a few weeks. I've been super busy and a few niggles popped up and I just haven't had time or the energy or the will even to make videos. But it's race week and I thought I'd update you with how I'm feeling and everything else, my strategy, what the goal time is, etc, before I roll the dice on Sunday. If there's any certain areas of this video you want to skip to, I'm going to make it so there's chapters all along the bottom so you can skip to the bits that interest you. Let's start with what's happened in the last few weeks. Well, I think I left you with some decent sessions, but then I got a niggle in that long run which was a disaster in the heat. And my glute sort of seized up and my hip glute area was causing me issues for some time. Basically, after Tuesday's heat disaster session, my hip did feel a bit, not sore, well yeah, sore, tender, tight, I don't really know the right word, but it didn't feel right. It's more like the glute medius I think it's called, just feels a little off. So I've had a massage with Kelly yesterday, and have been poking and prodding and stuff, but I'm leaving it rest now. I'm leaving it just do its thing. Hopefully it'll just sort itself out. So I'm taking 2 days recovery. I didn't do anything yesterday on purpose just to let everything die down, and then I'm going to get on the bike tonight just for something, not really chasing fitness, just because mentally I like to do something, and 2 days off is more than enough for me. So I had to manage it. With only a few weeks left until the race, I did what I could. So there was a lot of cross training on the bike, a lot of rest, I went and saw a physio, and I did manage to squeeze in a few more sessions, so my confidence is still high, but I just wasn't able to get the volume that I would have liked. Basically, I prioritised getting some long run sessions in and trying not to aggravate the hip area any further.
20 minutes in, 18 kilometers an hour. We're all in! It just feels good that I'm being able to get some work done when I thought I was going to start my taper now, but still some work to be done.
If you're going to knock me out, you better hope I stay down. Epic, absolutely epic. So happy to get a really solid, good, hard workout. You know, there's me thinking I'm going to have to rest for 3 weeks and hope for the best. Felt it a little bit, but not anything that's going to stop me. 2 hours, average of 5:32 per mile, treadmill pace, mind. Well, stride actually, but so yeah, slower than that, but heart rate was at like marathon heart rate. I was working, I was sweating because it's hot in here, no fans. That's the sort of work I needed to bank. Confidence boost. Come on! You know, I said I was going to go all in. There was no point in me pussyfooting around, resting, seeing if it was going to get better. I needed one hard long run before I could really justify an early taper. And maybe it was in my head a little bit, because it was never a point in that run that I felt like I was going to have to stop because of my glute or my hip. I just powered through, and by the end it was, you know, normal fatigue. I practiced with the gels because that was the plan for today. Another really specific run, practicing with gels. I was able to take on some water, which was great because I'll be taking on water at any water stations, and I haven't been taking water on runs, so I wanted to practice water and gels together. Watched a bit of YouTube and then put some metal on the headphones for the last half an hour. Progression, negative split,
just visualized the race, imagined specific people up ahead, gotta catch that pack, gotta get them, gotta get there, free energy. If I can sit behind that pack, catch them, get there, sit for a bit, let's go past, come on, look to the left, Kelly's there, one more loop. You can see I'm buzzing, so basically I just visualized the race, worked hard and banked a really solid run. This week isn't over, this marathon block isn't over, it's all in, I'm coming for you Wrexham/Cheshire!
I then developed a second niggle somehow in my ankle, so I was managing 2 niggles at the same time. It was niggle frenzy, but I got through it. We're now 3 days out from the marathon, and I want to discuss my strategy, the course, and what I'm feeling ahead of what used to be called Wrexham, which is now the Cheshire Elite Marathon. So, the Cheshire Elite Marathon. What's the course like? Well, I'll put up an image now. It's a 3.5 mile loop approximately. It's a triangle. So it's basically 3 long roads. It looks perfect for running fast. So it's about 7.5 laps for a marathon. There is a half marathon on the same day, and they'll be setting off at the same time as us, and they're doing 3.5, 4 laps. But my priority is the marathon, of course. But having those half marathon runners there might help, because it'll just be extra people running at the same sort of paces, and it means you've got more opportunity to draft and to have that community of runners around you. The course profile is pretty flat. On one side it's slightly downhill, on the other side it's slightly uphill, but it's pretty much as close to flat as you're going to find. And I think the course is perfect. I've had some friends that have gone out and run the course, and they've said 2 of the sides are really sheltered from any wind, and the exposed side, hopefully we'll get a tailwind on that side, which might even help us. So how's the race working? Well, it's an 8:30 a.m. start, and it's being set off in waves. They've just released the start list. I'll put a link to the start list and the tracking below. The waves are, I think there's like 20 or 30 runners per wave. So you're going to have a really good group running at a similar standard, because those waves are seeded. My wave is the 3rd or 4th wave to go off. And I think I listened to a podcast with the race director, and he said the waves are going to go off about every 15 seconds. But obviously faster runners are setting off before you. 15 seconds is quite a bit of time, so you won't be really catching any runners ahead unless they ease off the pace. So how has my training looked this week in the taper? Well, this is actually the first week I've had any consistency for a while. As I previously mentioned, I've had these niggles and I've just been managing them for the last few weeks. But this week I've actually got some consistency, just easy running, shorter runs. I did do, I call it a marathon session. It was just to find that marathon pace rhythm on Wednesday, which was yesterday.
Good morning. It is dress rehearsal day. We are 4 days out from the marathon. And what I'd like to do is put all the kit I'm going to wear, go out and do about 3 miles at marathon pace. I try and get up at the same time, have the same breakfast, try and emulate as much as I can that I'm going to do on race day, and make sure everything is working, everything is good. Even to the little details, like I'm going to take 3 gels in a belt for this run, for this 3 mile run. I won't be eating the gels, but I want to practice as much as possible. Make sure that my plan is smooth, basically. I've been doing this throughout training, but this is my last confidence building 3 miles at marathon pace. Yeah, not really much else to say. I'm just going to get on with it. I'm going to do the same warm-up. I'm going to do 10-minute warm-up now in the same warm-up shoes that I'm going to do for the marathon, with the same playlist in my ears to get me pumped up. Then I'm going to change my shoes and do the 3 miles. And I can't wait. Looking forward to it. Bit nervous, but the nerves are good, because I'm trying to emulate those nerves, because that's what I'm gonna have on race day. So everything I can do, so I've pumped this up a little bit in my head, everything I can do to make this like the Cheshire Elite Marathon day, I have. So I was up at 5:45 this morning, eating my bagel, drinking my coffee, and I'm a bit wired now and I'm ready to go. Dress rehearsal done. And it went pretty spot on. Pretty happy with that. If my first 5k of the marathon feels like that, then I'm in a good place. It was pretty windy, but I just looked at power and pace and just tried to control the effort, and came in at exactly 5:30 per mile
a 5k, 17 minutes something, and yeah, it was good. It was nice. Felt poppy, legs felt good, and I think I might have one more massage tonight with Kelly and let the legs freshen up with a few jogs, a few strides, and that's it. The work is done. Hay is in the barn, as they say. Race day on Sunday, let's go. And it went really smoothly. I felt so comfortable, confident, and it was a nice confidence boost. Of course, you should be able to do 3 miles at marathon pace. So yeah, I have decided to run in the Nike Alphafly Next Percent. The reason being is I never thought I would choose them over the Vaporfly, but I find that big bouncy stack of the Alphafly is going to come into its own in the marathon. Obviously in this block I did a 24-mile run at 5:45 per mile in the Alphafly, and it went really well, and my legs felt really good during and after that run. So that run is basically what's swayed it in the Alphafly's favour. I do prefer Vaporfly for shorter stuff, but I think the Alphafly is going to come into its own over the marathon. I guess that brings us on to kit. So as I said, Alphafly on my feet. I've got an Aero Swift vest, Aero Swift shorts. I'm going to wear my gels in my flip belt. I'll be carrying 3 More10 gels, 2 normal ones, 1 caffeinated. I'm going to have a heart rate monitor on. I'm not going to wear the chest strap for the race because although I wear it pretty much for all my training, I do find it a little bit restricting. So I'm going to wear the Polar OH1, is it OH1? On my arm. It's really good, pretty reliable. It's not as good as the chest strap, I don't think, but it'll do the job for the race. I won't be looking at the heart rate. It's just something I like to look at afterwards. It's nice data to have, but I don't want to wear a chest strap to collect that data in the race. Back to my taper. What will the rest of the week be? Today was 30 minutes easy. Tomorrow I'll either rest or another 30 minutes easy. And then Saturday, just an easy run with some strides. I do just really back off towards the last few days before a marathon. I really want to be fresh, but I do also want to keep that rhythm. So I will be getting out, getting some jogs in and some strides as well the day before. As well as the training this week, I try and focus on the little things. So I've been really prioritizing sleep. I've been going to bed a lot earlier and trying to get as much sleep as I can, because I know as I get nervous towards the race, I probably won't sleep well the night before. So if I can almost like bank the sleep early in the week, I'm not going to be as fatigued or tired going into the race. I've also been using the Air Relax compression boots to help with my legs. They really help. I bought it as a present for Kelly, but I have been stealing it. And yeah, they feel really good on the legs, and your legs feel really fresh after using them. And I quite enjoy using them as well. So that's been another thing I've been doing for the last few weeks, but this week I'll be doing it especially. I've had questions over on Instagram in my DMs asking me about how I'm gonna set my watch up, which is a really good question. I got rubbish eyes, so I only like 3 fields rather than 4 on my watch at any one time, just to make the display a little bit bigger. I'll be wearing contacts in the race, but still 3 fields is enough for me. So the top one is going to be power. The reason I'm using power is because I know what power I should be running for my marathon. It won't be what dictates my pace, but it will be something I keep an eye on. It's really reactive power. If I surge, or if I'm going up a hill, or even if I'm drafting and using less energy, the power reacts really quickly and really responsive, I should say. The second field is going to be lap pace, and that's going to be the one I really keep an eye on. Every lap, every mile, I want to be ticking off at about 5:30 per mile. What's that? 3:25 per kilometre. So that's the one I'm really keeping an eye on, just trying to tick off the miles as smoothly and as comfortably as possible. And the third one is average pace, because that's basically a predictor of what you're going to finish in. It's how fast you've been going for the whole race. So that's very key, and towards the end, I want that to be below 5:30 per mile if I'm going to hit my goal. On a second page, I'll have distance and time and other displays that might come in useful, and it's very easy to switch to those displays, but the main ones are those 3, and that's going to be my main page of displays. For those of you that want to watch, apparently there's going to be a live stream, which is really exciting. I would definitely be tuning in if I wasn't running. I haven't got the details yet, but as soon as I get them, I will be posting a link on Twitter, I'll be posting a link on Instagram, and I'll put a post up on YouTube as well with the link to the stream. So if you are interested in watching, I don't know if you'll see me, but you might not be interested in me anyway, but there is going to be such an amazing field of runners there, and it should be a good race to watch. I'm not sure if the live stream will just be fixed at one spot and you see us come around each lap, or whether it's going to be on a bike, or I don't know. But anyway, it should be interesting to have some sort of accessibility to watch what could be a really exciting race. If you haven't got the time or inclination to watch the stream, there is also the tracking. So I'll put a link in the description below to the tracking. Choose your favourite runners, you can track them. There's loads of different splits. There's 2 timing mats per lap, so you're going to get a really good indication of if any of us are dropping off. Or speeding up, hopefully. And there's also the leaderboard, so get familiar with the sites. The results site is there, the start list is available. Have a little browse through before race day, and on the day, just track anyone that you wish to track. You could even track me. Now let's look at the weather. I've been checking the weather for the last 2 weeks. I don't get obsessive about it because I know it can change so close to race day, but we are getting closer, and it gets a bit more reliable the closer you do get. It looks like we've been quite lucky with the weather. We'll see on race day, but the winds aren't so strong. They're not still conditions, but not really blowy. Also, the wind direction seems to be a favourable wind direction because the exposed mile is a crosswind / tailwind rather than the disaster direction would have been running into a headwind for that whole mile. It also looks like it's going to be dry, and also the temperature between 8 and 12 looks like it's going to be fine, like 6, 7, 8 degrees. It just looks like perfect running conditions to run fast. Which brings me on to the field. The field looks absolutely stacked. And that is the most exciting thing for me. Even in these major marathons, I've ended up running on my own so many times, and it almost becomes a time trial. Whereas if you're in a pack, you can draft, you can save energy, you've got other people taking some of the work, you get into a rhythm, you can almost just switch off and relax. The pace is being taken care of, just keep ticking along, just keep ticking along. And that's what I did in my first marathon. I just sat at the back of a pack for about 20 odd miles, and I got a 2:29 in my first marathon because of that, I think. It was just the patience of just letting other people do the work and kick on later on. Obviously, depending on the pack, you want to go to the front and do a bit of work yourself, take it in turns because, you know, we're all in this together. But when it comes down to it, you've got to be a little bit greedy, a little bit selfish, and hang on into the end. So finally, let's talk my goal time and strategy. Well, my goal time is still 2:24, which it was at the beginning of this block, which is 5:30 per mile or 3:25 per kilometre. There were moments in this block where things started to go really well, and I did start to think maybe, just maybe, I could go a bit quicker. But the last few weeks have stopped me getting ahead of myself, and I will stick to that goal. So I'm going to go out at 5:30 per mile, hopefully in a group, hopefully sat in a pack, and then tick off as many miles feeling hopefully comfortable as you can be at that sort of pace in a marathon. And it'd be great to then kick on in the last 5 or 6 miles. We will see. You never know what's going to happen in a marathon. It's a beast of a distance. I've done so many now, and you just never know. It's an emotional roller coaster, a marathon. But I'm excited and I'm feeling confident. There were points in the last few weeks that I did start to doubt myself, but I've done a few sessions and I do feel like it's starting to come together at the right time. And hopefully on the day it will click and I will have the race of my life. Either way, a time goal is a time goal. I'm excited just to get out there and race. There's always another marathon to try and get a time, but I've waited so long to finally race a marathon again. My last one was in 2019. So I am excited just to roll the dice, go all in, give it everything, and just experience that challenge that the marathon gives you. You never know how you're going to feel later on, but you do know you're going to be grinding and grafting, and I love that. You can't emulate it in training. So bring on Sunday. I will be keeping the moustache just for the race, and then it'll be gone. So this is the moustache marathon, if you like, and I'm really excited for it. I'd love to go into all the other competitors, but there's hundreds of them. and it wouldn't be fair just to pick out a few. But if you do want to see the start list, like I said, go in the link below and check it out, and there are some amazing runners, so it should be a really good race. It's almost like, it's quite like a retro race, isn't it? It's a bit like the 80s when they'd all battle against each other on the domestic field quite regularly, but we don't really get that. So this is exciting. So I think I've waffled on for long enough. I hope you've enjoyed this video in some way. I just wanted to give you an update before I run the marathon, basically. If this is your first time to the channel, this is not my usual type of video. My normal video is full of action and sessions, and it's a bit more fun than this. But this is just a little update of how I'm feeling going into the Cheshire Elite Marathon. I am nervous, but those nerves are going to be good. They're going to be adrenaline on race day. But I'm just excited, and I hate the waiting around. So it's only 3 days now, and then I get to roll the dice and go all in.
Living for weekends, wishing I could take a break from this world. Running on a hamster wheel, but searching for something I can't feel. I just